Okay, now I'll be working on number 9, and the question asks, graph each function below, identify the axis of symmetry. So number 9, so we have this equation, y is equal to negative 3 parentheses x plus 7 squared minus 8. So y is equal to negative 3 x plus 7 squared minus 8. Okay, now our job is to graph it and then identify the axis of symmetry. So for a parabola, what is the most important point that we have to get? We have to get the vertex. Because it's symmetric, once you get the vertex, you can pick points on either side of it and be able to figure out what the graph looks like. Okay, so we have to get the vertex. Luckily, this is in vertex form. So we already know what the vertex is just by looking at it. What would it be? Well, just for review, remember the vertex for the x and y value, the x and y coordinates, if you will, is equal to the h and k value of the vertex form. But remember, our generic equation says a is equal to x minus h squared plus k. So our generic equation has a negative sign in the middle. Here we have a positive. So we have to change this to y is equal to negative 3 x minus a minus 7 squared minus 8. Because now we have a negative sign and negative sign. So the h value is in fact negative 7 and the k value is negative 8. So now we have our vertex. So let's draw a little table. The vertex is negative 7, negative 8. And let's pick some points on either side of it. So let's pick negative 6 and negative 8. Okay, so let's do that. Negative 6. And once we get the x value, we plug it in for x to figure out what the y values are. So negative 6. If you plug negative 6 into here, we get negative 6 plus 7, which is 1. 1 squared is 1. 1 times negative 3, negative 3. Negative 3 minus 8, negative 11. And same thing for negative 8. If you plug in negative 8 into here, negative 8 plus 1 is negative 1. Square that, 1. Times negative 3, negative 3. Minus 8, negative 11. Notice they're symmetric. So now we graph our equation. Okay, so we have our, so this is my x value, and the other line is my y value. So let's graph that. At negative 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we have negative 11. 1. So I'll put the points right here for you. So x, y. Negative 6, we said it was negative 11. Negative 7, we said it was negative 8. And negative 8, we said it was negative 11. Okay, so negative 6, we have negative 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So our first coordinate is going to be right here. And at negative 7, we said it was negative 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And at negative 8, we said it was negative 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We said it was negative 11 again. Okay, so our graph looks something like this. Okay, so that's going to be our graph. Now, notice that it makes sense because, first of all, the parabola is pointing down. And we know that to be true because we have a negative value in front. You can think of this negative a. The a is negative, so we know it points down. And we know the vertex is at -7, -8. So this is my vertex. Here's my vertex. It points down. That is correct. Okay, I'll label it for us. -7, -8. So now the question is, what is my axis of symmetry? Well, what is the axis of symmetry? It's that one line that divides this parabola in half, perfect mirror images of each other. What would that line be? Well, that line is at x equals -7, right? So x equals -7. That is my line of symmetry. Remember, x equals -7 is just a line that goes down at -7. And that line cuts our parabola in half. So this is my axis of symmetry. X equals -7. So now, next question. Write each function below in vertex form. This is the one that troubles a lot of students. So we're going to go over this, okay? I'm going to do number 10 and number 12 for us. Number 10. We have y is equal to x squared minus 12x plus 5. Y is equal to x squared minus 12x plus 5. And our job is to put this in vertex form. So we want to put this eventually in y is equal to a x minus h squared plus k. There's a few ways to do this. There's a few ways, but I'm going to do it using completing the square because completing a square is something you'll have to get used to later on in math. So we're going to be doing a lot of completing the square techniques. Okay, because I feel like that's pretty important. So y is equal to x squared minus 12x plus 5. We're going to put this in vertex form using completing the square. Just to show you, remember a is whatever's in front of x squared. Notice that there's nothing here, okay? So we have a x squared, we have a 1 in front of it. Okay, and that's going to play a crucial role later on. So how do we complete the square again? The first thing we have to do is set this equation to 0. So I'm going to do that. X squared minus 12x plus 5. And we set it to 0. Now we have to get the 5 to the other side. We don't have to, we could, but just to make everything clear, we're going to do it and then bring it back later because I feel like that's easier to work with. Okay, so let's bring this to the other side. So we have x squared minus 12x equals -5. Now our job is to complete the square for the left part of the equation. How do we do that? Well, we have to find out what to put in the space so that we can factor it into a complete square. And remember, how do we figure that out? It's always b divided by 2 squared. That is what we put into here. What is b value? Remember, this is my a value, b value. So b is -12. So that is equal to -12 divided by 2 squared. And what would that be? -12 divided by 2 is -6. -6 squared is 36. So we plug 36 into here. And since this is an equation, whatever you do to one side, you have to do the same to the other side to balance it out. So now we have a complete square here, perfect square. Okay, what would that be? Well, that part would be x minus 6 squared. There's a couple ways you can do that. You can use the diamond format. I'll do it right here for us. It's kind of blurry. There. So you want to find two numbers that when you multiply, you get 36, and when you add, you want to get negative 12. So we know that it's negative 6, negative 6. That's one way you can do this. Another way you can do it is this negative 6 here is always being divided by 2. It's what's inside this parentheses. So b divided by 2, negative 12, divided by 2, negative 6. Boom, goes right here. I think this is a lot easier. So this part that you have up here, x squared minus 12x plus 36, can be factored into x minus 6 squared. And that is equal to what's on the other side. The other side is 31. Now you have to bring 31 back because you want it to look like a times x minus h squared plus k. So minus 31, we have x minus 6 squared minus 31, and that is equal to y. So we've just turned this into the vertex form. And now number 12. Number 12, same thing. Write each function in vertex form. And we have y is equal to 2x squared minus 5x plus 12. Okay. So y is equal to 2x squared minus 5x plus 12. So, remember before we said that the x squared, whatever is in front of the a, happens to be a 1. Well, now it's not a 1 anymore, it's a 2. So we have to take that into consideration, okay? So first thing we're going to do is, once again, we're going to set this equation up, with this expression part up to 0. So we have 2x squared minus 5x plus 12 equals 0. There's a few ways to do it. There's, like I said, for every one of these problems, there's a few ways to be able to get the vertex form. But I'm going to be consistent, and I'm going to do it using completing the square method again, okay? So first thing you're going to do is you're going to divide everything by 2. You want to make the a, or in other words, whatever's in front of the x squared, a 1. You want to make it into a 1. So we're going to divide everything by 2. Okay, so divide everything by 2 here. And then we get x squared minus 5 over 2x plus 6 equals 0. Okay, next thing you know, we move the 6 to the other side like we've always done. So we have x squared minus 5 over 2x equals negative 6. Now we have to figure out, what do we put into this blank spot so that this part becomes a perfect square? Once again, it's always b divided by 2 squared. And what is my b value? My b value is negative 5 over 2. So negative 5 over 2 divided by 2, that will be negative 5, which is negative 5 over 4. We want to square that. That would be, what would this be? It will be 25 over 16. So 25 over 16. Now we put that into this blank spot. And remember, whatever we do to one side, we got to do to the other side to balance it out. So we have to add 25 over 16 to the other side. Okay? Now, once again, we have this here. This becomes a perfect square. So what would that become? So we have x. And what do we put right here? Remember, it's always whatever's inside b divided by 2. b divided by 2 happens to be negative 5 over 4. So this part will become negative x minus 5 over 4 squared. That will be this part. And then what? And then you have to figure out what the other side is. So the other side is negative 6 plus 25 over 16. So let's get a common denominator here. So I'll do it up here. Negative 6 over 1, and you want to add that to 25 over 16. Well, another way to do this is just make this 25 over 16. I'm going to make that into, let's get a common denominator. So we have 6 times 16, you get 96. Negative 96 over 16 plus 25 over 16. And what is 96 minus 25? So we have negative 71 over 16. Okay, so negative 96 over 16 plus 25 over 16 is negative 71 over 16. So this part becomes negative 71 over 16 equals negative 71 over 16. Now we bring this back. So this will become x minus 5 over 4 squared plus 71 over 16. The problem is, before, remember, we divided everything by 2. So now we have to multiply everything by 2 back. So we have to multiply everything by 2, so we're going to have to multiply everything here by 2, which is simply 2 times x minus 5 over 4 squared plus 71 over 16 times 2 is 71 over 8. And that would be my final answer. Okay, so remember completing the square part. I'll go review that again. First, you set it 0. If whatever's in front of x squared is not 1, divide everything by whatever the a value is. In this case, 2. Once you get this part, same thing as what we did before, you complete the square. After you complete the square, you got to bring that 2 back. So you times everything by 2 again, and you get your final answer. So now, that's number 12. Number 14. Number 14, I won't do the whole problem with you guys, but I'll set it up for you, okay? So, find a quadratic function with a graph that includes these points, 1, 0, 2, negative 3, 3, negative 10, these 3 corner points. So, remember, what is our generic quadratic function look like? It is ax squared plus bx plus c equals y. We don't know what a, b, and c are, but what we can do is we can use those points and plug into x and y and see what we can do about it, okay? So, the first point that we have is 1, 0. Remember, this is my x value and my y value. So based on this, we don't know what a is. So a times 1 squared, because that is my x, plus b times 1 plus c, and what is my y value? 0. And then my second point, 2, negative 3. a times 2 squared plus b times 2 plus c equals negative 3. And my third point, 3, negative 10, a times 3 squared plus b times negative 10 plus c, and that is equal to, times 3 plus c, and that is equal to negative 10. And now let's clean this mess up a little bit. So we have a plus b plus c equals 0, because a times 1 squared is just a plus b plus c equals 0. And the second part becomes 4a plus 2b plus c equals negative 3. And the third part becomes 9a plus 3b plus c equals negative 10. So we have our three equations now with three unknowns. Now we have our system of linear equation. So that is how we solve for a, b, and c. We use our system of linear equation method and solve. If you need help on how to do this, look at some of the previous videos that I've done on how to solve three system of linear equations with three unknowns. Okay?